In today's video is the Goj versus Tim Ferriss versus Rhonda Patrick. Roll the titles.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Before I jump into the video, just a quick reminder that I'm now offering the SIBO organic acid stool tests and consult via my website. So if you have any health or digestive problems, then consider taking these tests, as they will provide a lot of very detailed information upon which you can start making informed decisions and then start getting your health back on track. And on that bombshell, to the video.
You're talking about measuring your fecal bacteria population using like ubiome. Right?
Yeah, ubiome, or there are other like Rocky Mountain, blah blah blah, doctor's data, whatever.
So there's other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, ubiome has slightly different approach, but along those lines. Yeah.
So getting a detailed picture of your microbiome is incredibly useful, both if you have or even if you don't have health issues. Your gut bacteria are pivotal to how you break down food, how you manufacture short-chain fatty acids, how your immune function operates, and even how you think. So understanding this landscape will let you know what shape your gut health is in. So even though this is a recent upload on Rhonda Patrick's channel, this is an older video as ubiome went bankrupt in October 2019. Also, when Tim was referring to companies such as Doctor's Data, there are other better and more detailed microbiome tests on the market. The two best current microbiome DNA sequence tests on the market are Viome and Atlas Biomed. And just to reiterate, I don't sell these tests and I'm not affiliated with these companies in any way, shape or form. DNA sequences of your microbiome will tell you how many bacteria you have in your gut, what type of bacteria you have in the gut, and also what impact this bacteria is having on your digestion and your overall health outcomes. This type of test is different from comprehensive stool tests that will tell you if you have pathogenic bacteria, parasites, how well you are digesting and absorbing proteins, fats and carbohydrates, whether you have inflammation in the gut, or even if you have any blood in your stool. And both DNA sequences and comprehensive stool tests are super useful depending on what you are trying to find and also achieve.
I agree with you. For one, it's very, first of all, I heard a podcast you did with Jessica Richmond from ubiome, and I think you had talked about this, and that's how I became first aware that the link between, when you mentioned having this hypothesis that you thought possibly some of these symptoms of Lyme disease were a consequence of just complete gut dysbiosis, where you're taking several rounds of antibiotics and you are obliterating your gut bacteria. A lot of the good ones are going away.
I'm so happy these level of conversations are happening more. I will obviously be a lot happier when these type of conversations become fully mainstream and you will be able to have these conversations with your medical teams. But I fear we are a way off of this. So what Tim and Rhonda are talking about here is exactly what I've been saying for the last 7 years, and specifically on this channel for the last 2 years. I truly believe that when the evidence catches up, antibiotic use will be shown to be the #1 root cause of many people's failing health. From autoimmune diseases, food intolerances and sensitivities, and also for the proliferation of things like small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Your gut is so reliant on bacteria for so many different functions, and if you decimate your gut flora with antibiotic use, then you can run into so many different health issues, and I can attest to this myself. No significant health issues, and then I take doxycycline for 7 weeks, and this resulted in me not being able to work for over a year with over 20 different symptoms. Even when I was able to work, I was still having severe irregular heartbeats, panic attacks, brain fog, severe weight loss, and also severe food intolerances, where I was only able to eat 2 foods for 3.5 years. If you strip out your gut flora and you have things like intestinal permeability, gut infections, or anything along these lines, it will literally put you down so fast.
And if you don't take a very strong probiotic immediately after antibiotics, it repopulates with all the bad stuff, and it's really hard to get, because they occupy space, and they're sitting in what's called the mucin in the gut, and they have to stick in the mucin to stay. Otherwise, anything you take will just flow through. It's kind of like the flow through.
Again, this is something that I've talked constantly about over the last 2 years. Your bacteria have anchor points in your gut. The mucin, as Rhonda was talking about, the GLYCO, CALIX, and also others. If you decimate these, then the beneficial bacteria have no anchor points, and very quickly pathogens will take over your gut, and then the health issues can really start cranking up.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard to repopulate. I've been doing a lot of self-experimentation with I've been using ubiome to track my gut bacteria, genotypes. But have you tried VSL number 3?
As I always say on this channel, probiotics are largely a waste of money and they don't work because your stomach acid will usually wipe out a high proportion of the bacteria, as most probiotics on the market contain less than 30 billion. You are far better using fermented foods where there are trillions of live bacteria and they are a fraction of the price of probiotics. And because there are trillions of bacteria, yes, your stomach acid will still eradicate a high proportion of bacteria, but a large amount of these bacteria will still find their way into your colon where they will start working their magic. Now, VSL3 that Rhonda is talking about is an interesting probiotic as it contains hundreds of billions of bacteria. And it is one of the only probiotics on the market with clinical trials behind it. And for those of you who are already thinking it, no, unfortunately, it is not vegan. But let me quickly explain my biggest reservations with these type of probiotics. So let's just say that you decimate your gut flora and you develop all manner of health issues, including something like histamine intolerance. So you may be dealing with heart arrhythmias, headaches, dizziness, vertigo, hives, and even shortness of breath. So you are dealing with histamine intolerance because the bacteria taking residence in your gut after the antibiotics are pathogenic histamine liberating bacteria. So the bacteria is liberating histamine. Your body is sending histamine to the inflamed area as histamine is an anti-inflammatory, and you are also subjected to histamine-rich foods in your diet. So if you load up with something like VSL, unaware of what is going on, then this could be like throwing in a hand grenade and all of your symptoms could get worse very quickly. So please, please, please never throw unknowns into the gut, especially when you don't know the landscape. You could be extending your recovery time by many months. Work with someone, identify the problems with things like DNA sequencing and comprehensive stool tests and any other testing necessary. Fix these issues in a methodical manner and you won't end up like these two numpties trying to fix their health issues with stupidity.
Let's do it, man. All right, we're literally gonna be here on camera.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this, Timothy.
Let's hope the mic.
I didn't know we would be here 5 years ago. Timothy, cheers, buddy.
Right.
Okay.
I have it in my fridge right now.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, so the sachets are what I recommend because
I have the capsules.
the sachets have 450 billion,
Yeah.
which is more than what the capsules have. 450 billion is like 10 times more than what most probiotics have.
Yep.
The thing about VSL number 3, very interesting. So it's the probiotic that I take. I'm taking it because I've had some gut issues.
Again, more does not mean better. We have this bizarre mindset in health and nutrition in that a little is good, therefore a lot must be really good. Absolutely not. I promise you, do not throw these type of concoctions into the gut if you don't know what you are doing.
That started in graduate school because I got MRSA. And
Yeah, that's not fun.
antibiotics were the prescription, and I had several courses of strong ones.
Yeah.
And finally, it kept coming back, and I was like fed up. I'm
How
like,
do you get MRSA?
I don't really know
What's
how
that?
I got. I worked in a hospital.
Staph.
Yes.
Staph aureus.
Aureus.
Oh, damn it.
Staphylococcus
Staphylococcus
aureus.
aureus.
Yeah, so I worked in a children's hospital.
Oh, that's a good place to get it.
They're everywhere in hospitals, so who knows where I got it, right? I mean, but the point is I got it and it sucked. And so I finally, after like, I don't know, 3 or 4 rounds of antibiotics, I would take it and then go away, and then like a month later it would come back, and then again and again, and I was like, I can't do this. So I read in the literature that, with the help of my husband Dan, that garlic and grapefruit seed extract, just a concoction of things. I applied both topically. I made a cream, then I orally took.
Again, I always talk about many natural antimicrobials such as grapefruit seed extract, allicin, berberine, and metagenics, and these can be as effective as antibiotics for removing infections from your gut. But again, please don't start throwing these down your neck. If you have very low levels of diversity in the gut, less than say a couple of 100 species, what do you think is going to happen when you eradicate more of these beneficial bacteria? Yes, you've got it. It's likely to send your health in completely the opposite direction you want to be traveling in. Don't mess around with infections and antimicrobials unless you know what you are doing.
And within 24 hours, I got this thing to come to a head, pus out, and never came back.
Interesting.
So, but as a consequence of all the antibiotic use, I had serious gut issues, led to IBD, and I've been, finally been able to recover, and I'm
IBD,
still,
irritable bowel disorder.
Yeah, inflammatory bowel.
Inflammatory bowel disorder.
So, but it's been really, really a long journey.
I speak to so many people on a daily, weekly and monthly basis who have found themselves in a health apocalypse like Rhonda after taking antibiotics. Just out of interest, how many of you watching this video have bad health due to antibiotic use? Let me know in the comments below.
Tweaking my diet, and doctors, of course, I went to see doctors and they were just like, here, take an SSRI, it helps with the pain. And I'm like, I'm not gonna take an SSRI.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, and then like walked out of that doctor, I'm like, I'm not, you're insane. This was like a pelvic pain specialist doctor.
Yeah.
So I've just had terrible experiences with doctors, and finally I'm like, why aren't you asking me about my diet, fiber, things like that.
Yes, it's incredibly frustrating when you find yourself in this type of situation after antibiotic use. And the people who put you in that mess when prescribing you an antibiotic are often the ones who wash their hands of you and label you as depressed. It's one of the biggest travesties in modern medicine.
And so I tweaked my diet and did lots of things, but VSL number 3.
So have you, with the UBIOM testing, have you seen I haven't done a follow-up test in a few months, but I have been taking VSL number 3, so now I'm optimistic.
Yes.
Hopefully.
So I did a 30-day VSL number 3 course with the sachets, which are 450 billion, and did a stool test, and I'm still waiting for those results. I've had my husband and I both, Dan, he's done a recent course of antibiotics, and so I had him do his baseline, and then right after, literally like the day he stopped taking antibiotics, did a sample from UBIOM. I got that data back, so I've been looking at that. So I'm going to talk about all that. It's really complicated, and things in the literature are confusing, and some people think some things and they're actually not true. So I've been looking at other people's UBIOM. Anyways, I'm going to be doing a series of talks on this, so I'm pretty excited. But
Rhonda has a large platform to discuss these type of issues, and it's good to see someone talking about these complex issues in a logical way. Hopefully she does a follow-up to the testing and the issues that she was talking about, so certainly head over to her social media platforms, spam her with this link and tell her that we want this topic on her podcast. Anyway, that's the end of today's video. I hope you all enjoyed, and as always, remember to look after your body because it's the only place you have to live. And I'll see you next time.